The jungle doesn't forgive, and the worst part? Some men never die, they just keep paying for their mistakes. Deep in an uncharted forest where sunlight barely touches the ground, a group of explorers pushes forward, chasing something no one has ever truly found, a legend called the Tears of the Moon. At the center of it all is a man named Aguirre. He's not just obsessed, he's desperate. The deeper they go, the more the jungle begins to feel alive. Not in a peaceful way. In a watching, waiting kind of way. And then suddenly, everything turns. The plants around them start moving. Vines twist like snakes. Roots snap upward like traps. The forest attacks a tribe. They move silently through the trees, watching the outsiders who dared to enter their land. Aguirre, weak and desperate, begs for help. And surprisingly, they give it. They treat the wounded. They save their lives. But here's where everything changes. Because Aguirre doesn't see kindness. He sees opportunity. Instead of gratitude, his eyes lock onto something else, something sacred. An arrowhead. A key tied to the Tears of the Moon. He asks for it. The tribe refuses. And in that moment, Aguirre makes a decision that will haunt him forever. He attacks. Steel clashes against wood. Fire meets flesh. The very people who saved him are slaughtered, all for a piece of legend. And when the blood settles, Aguirre gets what he wants. But he also gets something else. A curse. The tribal chief steps forward, his voice calm, but filled with something far worse than anger. Judgment. He declares that Aguirre and his men will never find peace, that they will wander the forest forever. And if they dare cross the river, they will become something less than human. Something still, something trapped. And just like that, their fate is sealed. Time passes, years turn into decades, decades into centuries, and the jungle remembers. Now in the present day, the legend is still alive, but no one knows how real it truly is. Until we meet Dr. Lily. She's not a warrior, she's not an explorer, but she is relentless. While others treat the Tears of the Moon as myth, Lily sees something else. Possibility. A cure. A breakthrough that could change medicine forever. Because the legend says the tree can heal anything. And that's not something she's willing to ignore. During a formal presentation, her brother explains the myth to a room full of skeptics. Most of them don't believe it. But Lily? She's already planning her next move. Because she knows something they don't. The key to finding the tree still exists. That arrowhead. The same one that started everything. And she knows exactly where it is. This is where things get risky. Inside a heavily guarded building, Lily moves quietly, slipping past security, climbing where she shouldn't be, pushing further than anyone expects. She finds it. A locked box, inside another box. Hidden, protected, important, and inside the arrowhead. For a moment, everything is still. Then, footsteps. She's been seen. A prince notices her escape and moves fast, cutting her off before she can disappear. She ends up hanging from a ladder outside a window, one wrong move away from falling. He gives her a choice. Give it back, or fall. And this is where you realize who Lily really is. She doesn't hesitate. She throws the empty box at him, and lets go. She escapes, heart racing, mission complete. But now she's not just chasing a legend anymore. She's being hunted. Because the prince doesn't just want the arrowhead back. He needs it, and he's willing to do anything to get it. Meanwhile, somewhere far from all of this chaos, a man named Frank is barely holding his life together. He's not chasing legends, he's running from debt, working as a jungle guide, giving cheap tours to tourists who have no idea how dangerous the place really is. He jokes, he smiles, he performs. But behind that charm, there's something off. Something hidden. Because when trouble comes knocking, and it always does, Frank doesn't panic. He adapts, and that tells you everything. Soon, these two worlds are about to collide. A scientist chasing a miracle, a guide hiding secrets, and a curse that never died. At first glance, he's just a tour guide. Loud, entertaining, a little reckless. He takes tourists down the river, cracks jokes, and pretends everything is under control. But look closer. He's broke, desperate, and running out of time. A man confronts him, demanding money he owes. Frank tries to talk his way out of it, but this time, words aren't enough. The man takes the key to Frank's boat engine. No key, no boat, no money. And just like that, Frank is stuck. But here's the thing about him. He never stays stuck for long. He watches carefully, notices where the key is hidden, and silently plans his next move. And right at that moment, Lily walks in. She's looking for a guide, someone who knows the jungle, someone fearless, and somehow, she picks the one man she shouldn't trust. At first, she mistakes Frank for the real boat owner. The conversation starts simple. Price, destination, timing. But then the truth comes out. Frank isn't who she thought he was. And just like that, she refuses him. But Frank notices something. Something small. But everything changes because of it. The arrowhead. Hanging right there, around her neck. And suddenly, this isn't about money anymore. Now it's personal. He tries to convince her, drops the price, pushes harder. But Lily isn't buying it, until chaos explodes. A leopard appears out of nowhere. People scream, run, panic. And in the middle of it all, Frank doesn't move. He steps forward, calm, controlled, like he's done this before. He handles the situation with precision, driving the animal away like it's nothing. And just like that, Lily sees something different. Not a liar, not a fraud, but someone who belongs in this jungle. Someone dangerous, someone useful. And that's all she needs. She hires him. But what she doesn't know is that moment, it was staged. The leopard? Not a coincidence. Frank planned it because he needed her to trust him. And now, she does. Because before they can escape, men surround Lily. They grab her, throw her into a cage, cover it, no warning, no explanation, just gone. And suddenly, the mission turns into survival. But Lily isn't helpless. Inside the cage, she thinks fast, unlocks it from the inside, waits for the right moment, then strikes. She uses the cage itself as a weapon, smashing into her captors, forcing her way out, and runs. This isn't luck, this is instinct. But the danger isn't over. She climbs higher ground, trying to escape, but one wrong step, she slips, falls, and this should have been the end. But Frank shows up at the last second, grabs her, pulls her back, and then, he jumps into the river, tells her to follow. But here's the problem. Lily can't swim, and now she has to choose, stay and get caught, or jump into something she's terrified of. Instead, she improvises, uses a rope, slides across, barely makes it, and finally reaches the boat. But the real threat hasn't even started yet, because rising from the water behind them is something no one expected. A submarine, and inside it, the prince. He opens fire, bullets rip through the water, the boat shakes, the engine screams, Frank takes control. Sharp turns, sudden drops, impossible maneuvers. He's not just driving, he's surviving. 2 torpedoes launch toward them. And this is where everything should end. But Frank does something insane. At the last possible second, he swerves the boat, and both torpedoes miss. The explosion rocks the water, the jungle shakes, and somehow they survive. But the prince, he doesn't. His submarine gets trapped, stuck, for now. And that's the key word, for now. Because this chase isn't over, not even close. As the boat drifts deeper into the jungle, the danger feels distant, but something is wrong. Too quiet, too easy. That night, under the silence of the forest, they finally rest, eat, breathe, talk, and for a moment, it almost feels safe. Until Lily's brother climbs up, terrified. The leopard is back, on the boat, and this time, Frank doesn't even react. He just says, "It's my pet." And just like that, the truth begins to crack. Because now Lily realizes something terrifying. The danger she trusted was never real, which means the man she trusted might be even worse. Trust breaks fast in the jungle, but secrets, they take their time. And Frank is hiding something much bigger than a fake leopard. Something else moves in the dark. Far away, deep inside a forgotten cave, the past is waking up. The prince, still obsessed, still relentless, descends into the darkness. Winter, Aguirre, still standing, still trapped, still waiting. This is where the story turns, because the prince doesn't run. He smiles, he remembers the curse, the river, the warning. And then he does something no one else dared to try. He pours river water onto the stone. For a second, nothing happens. Then, cracks, movement, life. From Aguirre's body, snakes begin to crawl out. Not random, not wild, controlled, watching, listening, obeying. And through them, Aguirre speaks, not with words, but with intent. The prince makes a deal. Bring him the arrowhead, and he'll help them reach the tears of the moon. Freedom. After centuries of being trapped, that's all they needed to hear. The snakes vanish into the jungle. The hunt begins again. And now, Lily isn't just being chased by a prince, she's being hunted by something that refuses to die. Back on the river, things aren't getting any easier. The deeper they go, the more the jungle fights back. Storm clouds roll in without warning. The wind howls. The river turns violent. And ahead of them, a waterfall. Massive, unforgiving, no way around it. This is where everything should fall apart. But Frank, he doesn't panic, he takes control. Every movement is precise, every decision calculated. The boat crashes through waves, spins through chaos, nearly flips, but somehow, he guides them through. Alive. Barely, but alive. And that's when Lily realizes something else. This isn't luck, this isn't talent, this is experience. Too much experience. Like he's done this before, more than once. The boat is damaged, so they stop to repair it. Frank heads out to gather materials, leaving Lily alone for a moment. And that's when she finds it, a hidden cabin, inside the boat. Inside that cabin, a book, old, worn, filled with sketches, maps, notes, all about the tears of the moon. This wasn't her mission alone. Frank has been searching for it too, for a long time. And suddenly, everything clicks. The lies, the tricks, the way he pushed to join her. He didn't just want to help, he needed her. Because she had the one thing he never found, the key. When Frank returns, Lily doesn't hold back. She confronts him, calls him out, accuses him of using her. And for the first time, Frank doesn't joke. He doesn't smile. He doesn't deflect. He tells her the truth, or at least, part of it. He says if finding the tree was easy, he would have done it years ago. That he's been searching for longer than she can imagine. And failed. Again, and again, and again. But Lily doesn't care. Because now she knows, he's not just hiding something, he's built on it. And just when it feels like the tension is about to explode, the jungle interrupts. Warriors appear. Silent, fast, surrounding them before they can react. Weapons drawn, eyes locked. There's no escape. They're taken, bound, dragged into the unknown. Frank tries to talk, speaks their language, explains, negotiates, but it's not working. Because this time, they're not dealing with strangers. They're dealing with people who know exactly what that arrowhead means. The tribe demands it. Give it back, and walk away alive. Simple, clean, final. But Lily refuses. After everything she's risked, everything she's sacrificed, she's not giving it up, even if it means dying for it. She grabs a spear, stands her ground, ready to fight an entire tribe if she has to, and this is where everything changes again, because the tribal chief steps forward, calm, knowing, and says something that cuts deeper than any weapon. Frank lied, not just to her, but about everything. And suddenly, Lily sees it. The hesitation, the silence, the truth he never told. The trust she gave him, gone. Just like that, she slaps him hard, not out of anger, out of betrayal, and decides something dangerous. She's done relying on him. She'll finish this alone. But the jungle doesn't give her that choice. Because before anyone can move, the ground shifts, the air changes, and something unnatural arrives. Aguirre. Not as a man, not anymore. Something else. Snakes crawling through his body, insects covering his skin, eyes filled with nothing but obsession. And behind him, the rest of the cursed. Moving, hunting, relentless. They don't speak, they don't hesitate, they attack. Chaos erupts, warriors clash with monsters, screams echo through the trees, blood hits the ground. And in the middle of it all, one thing matters, the arrowhead. Aguirre moves straight for Lily. Nothing else matters to him. Not the fight, not the people, just the key. And in the chaos, it's taken, passed from hand to hand, closer, closer, until finally, it reaches him. Aguirre has it. And just like that, everything is lost, or at least, it should have been. Because Frank doesn't stop. Even after everything, he charges forward, straight at the thing he once followed. And this time, he's not running, he's finishing something that started centuries ago. Some fights aren't about winning, they're about ending something that should have ended centuries ago. Because Frank isn't just fighting for the arrowhead, he's fighting his past. The moment Aguirre gets his hands on the arrowhead, everything spirals. The jungle feels like it's closing in. The cursed men don't slow down, they don't hesitate, they don't feel anything. But Frank, he does. And that's why he charges straight into danger. He fights through chaos, dodging snakes, pushing past attackers, ignoring the fear that's screaming at him to stop. This isn't just survival anymore. For a moment, everything feels over. But even in that moment, Frank makes one last move, with what little strength he has left. He throws the arrowhead, back to Lily. She catches it, and just like that, the mission is still alive. But Frank, he's not moving. And this is where everything changes. The tribe manages to push Aguirre back. The cursed retreat, unable to cross the river that lies ahead. Because the chief was right, the curse has limits. Aguirre can't follow, not beyond that point. So Lily makes the hardest decision yet. She crosses the river, leaving Frank behind. Or at least, that's what she thinks. The next morning, the jungle is quiet again. Too quiet. Lily walks carefully, her brother close behind, the weight of everything pressing down on her. And then, she sees him. Frank. Lying still, the spear still in his chest, her heart drops. This is it. This is the cost, but something feels off. She steps closer, looks again, and then he breathes. Not much, but enough. And what he says next changes everything. He tells her not to worry, that he can't die. At least, not like this. And just like that, the truth finally comes out. Frank is cursed, just like Aguirre. For nearly 400 years, he's been trapped in a cycle that never ends. He carefully pulls the spear from his chest. It should kill him, but it doesn't. Because for him, death isn't an escape. It's just another moment. And now, the mission means something different. It's not just about healing the world anymore. It's about freeing him. Because the tears of the moon, they don't just heal, they break curses. But there's a problem. Time is running out. The tree only blooms during a lunar eclipse. Miss it, and everything they've risked disappears. So Lily makes another difficult choice. She leaves her brother behind with the tribe, where he'll be safe. And for the first time, she chooses Frank. Not because she trusts him completely, but because she understands him. And together, they move forward. Deeper into the jungle, closer to the truth. Along the way, Frank finally tells her everything about Aguirre, about the expedition, about the daughter he was trying to save. Because this story, it didn't start with greed. It started with love. A father trying to save his child. But when the tribe refused to help, that love turned into rage. And that rage destroyed everything. Frank was there. He helped guide them. He watched it happen. And when the curse fell, he paid the price too. Not as a monster, but as a survivor. And sometimes, that's worse. Meanwhile, far behind them, the danger isn't gone. It's getting closer. The prince captures Lily's brother, uses fear, pressure, and gets exactly what he wants. The location. Now the final race begins. Prince, Aguirre, Frank, Lily, all heading toward the same place, the same legend, the same ending. And when Lily and Frank finally reach it, it's not what they expected. A hidden entrance, beneath the water, silent. But to reach it, they have to dive. And this is where Lily faces her biggest fear. Water. She can't swim. Every instinct tells her to stop, to turn back, to survive. But she doesn't, because now it's bigger than her fear. Frank guides her, calm, steady, focused. They dive together, into darkness, into silence, into something that feels like a trap. She struggles, her lungs burn, her body fights against her, and just when it feels like she's about to lose everything, she finds it. The mechanism, the lock, the keyhole that only the arrowhead can open. Her hands shake, her vision blurs, but she keeps going, because stopping now means losing everything, and somehow she unlocks it. The door opens, water rushes, the pressure releases, and a hidden world reveals itself. They made it, they found it, the tears of the moon. But they're not alone, because just as they step inside, a shadow rises behind them. The prince has arrived, and this time he's not asking. Some legends promise power, others promise life, but this one, it demands a choice. The moment the prince steps into the hidden chamber, everything shifts. The air feels heavier, the silence sharper, and at the center of it all, the tree. The tears of the moon. After centuries of searching, it's finally real. But something's wrong. It's not glowing, not alive, not powerful. It's dying. The branches are dry, the leaves are withered. It looks like a legend that came too late, and for a second, it feels like everything they've done was for nothing. But then, they realize the truth. The arrowhead isn't just a map, it's a key. The prince turns to Frank, gun raised, voice cold. He knows Frank has been chasing this longer than anyone. If there's a way to bring the tree back, he'll find it. But Frank doesn't move, not until he says one thing. He wants the curse broken. After 400 years, he doesn't want treasure. He doesn't want power. He wants an ending. And that hits harder than anything else. Because for the first time, Lily understands. This was never about the tree for him. It was about freedom. She looks at him, and something changes. Because now she has to make a choice too. Save the world. Or save him. They begin searching the chamber. Stone walls, hidden carvings, ancient symbols that feel like warnings more than instructions. Nothing works. The arrowhead doesn't fit anywhere. Time is slipping. The eclipse is fading. And then, Lily remembers something. The tribal chief. The way he described the arrowhead. Not as a tool, but as something alive. The heart of the snake. Without hesitation, they break it open. Inside, a glowing red gem. Not just a key, the real key. They place it into the tree, and instantly, everything changes. Light bursts through the chamber. The tree awakens, branches stretch, flowers bloom in seconds, glowing with a beauty that feels almost unreal. This is it. This is what everyone came for. But beauty doesn't last long in a place like this. The prince panics, because he realizes something terrifying. There may only be one flower, one chance, and suddenly, everyone becomes an enemy. He orders his men forward. But Frank doesn't wait. He attacks first, fighting harder than ever before, not to win, but to buy time. Because Lily is already moving, climbing the tree, reaching for the flowers. But the eclipse is ending. The light begins to fade, and one by one, the flowers start dying, turning to dust, falling apart before she can reach them. This is where everything should fail, but Lily refuses. She climbs higher, faster, ignoring the danger, ignoring the time, ignoring the fear. And at the last possible second, she grabs one, barely, a fragment, but enough. The prince shouts, demands it, desperate now. But Lily doesn't hesitate. She throws it, not to herself, to Frank. Because she made her choice, and Frank catches it. But now, he's the target. No warning, no second chance, gone. But Aguirre, he doesn't stop. He can't, because obsession doesn't die easily. Frank escapes on the boat, but the jungle has one last test waiting. The trees move again, alive, angry, wrapping around him, pulling him in, freezing him in place, just like before, just like the curse promised. And this time, there's no escape. When Lily arrives, she sees it. Frank, trapped, motionless, gone. And this is the moment everything breaks. She steps closer, touches his face. Nothing, no movement, no breath, no life. After everything, this is how it ends? No. She refuses. With shaking hands, she takes the flower. The one thing they fought for, the one thing that could change everything, and places it into his mouth. Then waits, 1 second, 2 seconds, nothing. The jungle is silent again, and for the first time, Lily loses. She turns away, walks, because there's nothing left to do. But then, a sound. The leopard, soft, sharp, hope. She runs back, and sees it. Frank, moving, breathing, alive. Not cursed, not trapped, human. For the first time in 400 years, he's free. And in that moment, everything was worth it. They leave the jungle behind, the legend finally complete, but they don't leave empty-handed. One last flower remains, and this time, it's not for power, it's for purpose. Back home, Lily uses it to create medicine. Real change, real impact, the kind of thing legends are supposed to bring. And Frank, he learns how to live again. A new world, a new life. No curse, no past holding him back. Just time. And as they drive through the city, laughing, alive, finally free, he realized something. The jungle never let them go. It tested them, changed them, and in the end, it gave them exactly what they needed, not what they wanted. And that's why this story was never about the tears of the moon. It was about what you're willing to lose to finally be free.